Smoke moves slow, clock blinks red, file stack leans like it wants to beg. Pressure walks in, takes the chair opposite, breath holds its breath, paint cracks in the corner, his hand near the glass, knuckles pale but steady, jaw set like a verdict, waiting to be spoken. He don't bend, he carves, he don't bleed, he stars, room leans hard, he leans harder, weight meets wall, he grows sharper. Shadows read his face like a closed ledger, names in his memory crossed out in silence. Throat burns clean, whiskey still untouched, every promise on the desk pinned under his stare. Air grows heavier, words out before they start. Fear gets measured, ounce by heart. He don't bend, he carves, he don't plead, he stalls, room leans hard, he leans harder, weight meets wall, he grows sharper. He don't bend, he freezes, he don't beg, he seizes, room comes close, he comes closer, pressure breaks, he stands sober. Smoke draws a halo, never reaches skin. Glass sweats, waits, he doesn't drink or give in. He don't bend, he don't bend, he don't bend, he don't bend, yeah. Door swings, nobody looks up. Same cutlery, same corner, same back turn knob. From the owner, coat on, dark velvet, foam face down, crystal sweating on a circle in the wood. One ice cube catches a lamp. Her laugh cuts through cigar smoke, soft, expensive like trouble. I don't raise my voice on my glass. Waiter knows how I like the pour when I walk away. When to hover, I don't check the time. Time checks me. I don't have to move to prove I'm here.
Stay sleeping in the leather, build lands quiet like we rehearsed.
before they just stay open and the hush text comes in, screen lights gold. I don't rush the read or the answer. I sit, let the moment come to me. Clock hums in the ceiling, screen glow on his hands. Last cup cold and bitter, names fading from the plans. Chairs pushed in at angles, one tie on the floor. Fingerprints on the water glass, a smudge near the door. He scrolls through the silence, unread on the phone. Their laughter in the hallway like it never reached this room. He stays after everyone leaves, breathing in the smoke, making space to believe if a choice is made and nobody sees. It still bends the branch, still carves the tree. He stays after everyone leaves, staring down the dark like it answers to him. Folder marked in red ink, corner sharp as thought. Window shows 1,000 rooms, none of them this locked. He weighs a single sentence like metal in his palm, decides who needs a warning, who only gets the call. He doesn't raise his voice, he doesn't need a crown. Power is a quiet when you choose who hears the sound. Names become directions, faces turn to lines. He circles one in silence unless the night decides. He stays after everyone leaves, breathing in the smoke, making space to believe if a choice is made and nobody sees. It still bends the branch, still carves the tree. He stays after everyone leaves, staring down the dark like it answers to him. He stays after everyone leaves. That never learns his name. Screen goes black on purpose, city blurs to gray. Coat still on the chair back, you let the morning say, stay. Door clicks, lamp hums, glass sweats on old wood. He steps in, remembers its place. Ashtray full of half decisions, folders fat with quiet sins, calendar stuck in yesterday, clock hand scared to begin. His coat hits the chair like a verdict, tie still straight, eyes still calm. One nod to the bottle, to the smoke, and every loose tongue tightens its jaw. When he walks in, every shadow stands at attention. Every secret checks its pulse. He doesn't raise his voice. The room just leans in closer. He doesn't hunt for power. It follows him home. He reads faces faster than files. One glance and a lifetime shrinks down the hall. Laughter dies mid-breath, mid-drink. He pours 2 fingers of amber, lets it settle before he speaks. Silence sits beside him like an old friend, taking notes. You feel your name on the tip of his silence. You feel your past trying to hide in your hands. He doesn't threaten, he just measures what kind of man you've really been. When he walks in, every shadow stands at attention. Every secret checks its pulse. He doesn't raise his voice. The room just leans in closer. He doesn't hunt for power. It follows him home. When he walks in, walls forget what they heard. Deals remember who they serve. He doesn't chase the fire waits in his palm. He doesn't wear power, he wears calm. Almost a murmur. Finish your drink. Say what you mean. He's already seen what you thought you hid. Lambers of amber halo, cut glass on an old map. One chair pulled half an inch, like someone thought of leaving. Coat on the rack, creases hold their own stories. Cufflinks on the table, cold little moons in a straight line. Ash curling slow, never rush to fall. Clock ticks once, then seems to wait and listen. The room knows my name before a word lands. Shadows lean in when my hand finds the glass. I stand still, leaving halfway to the mill. You can feel it, how the air stands up and answers. Door stays shut, but the hallway straightens itself. Bottle left open, label turned toward my side. Folder on the desk, edges squared with the grain. Pen cap, yet the page keeps its distance. The room knows my name before a word lands. Shadows lean in when my hand finds the glass. I stand still, even halfway to the mill. You can feel it, how the air stands up and answers. Heavy desk, black coffee, still hot. Glass walls humming with distance, phone face down, screen dark. Silver watch, secondhand smooth as a secret. Pen line straight on the contract, names in ink, not in conversation. He learned silence buys cheaper than speeches. Meet in circle like vultures, he just moves the carcass off the field. He stopped explaining himself years ago. Let the outcome finish every line. They bring chatter, forecast, fear. He brings numbers, timing, sign. No slogan, just calendars and codes. He speaks in results, not words, and the building answers in gold. Jacket on the chair, tie still perfectly folded. Floor to ceiling glass, grid of windows, blinking far below. They argue in the boardroom, charts, colors, trembling notes. He taps once on the folder, door opens, deal already done. He stopped explaining himself years ago. Let the outcome finish every line. They bring chatter, forecast, fear. He brings numbers, timing, sign. No slogan, just calendars and codes. He speaks in results, not words, and the building answers in gold. He remembers the phase where he tried to be understood. Now the only question left is did it land where it should? He stopped explaining himself years ago. Silence sharper than a raised voice. They trade stories, angles, doubts. He trades in consequence and choice. No slogan, just calendars and codes. He speaks in results, not words, and the skyline signs what he wrote. One light stays on the suit jacket, steady hand on the glass, a nod to nothing in particular. Then the room goes dark right on time. There's either caught on the hook, the lamp left on, that chair turned just so a glass on the desk still sweating in the dark. They hear how quiet it gets in here, how the air gets thick enough to taste. They leave their problems on the table and they walk back out lighter, lighter. They point at the leather, cracked at the seams, say it looks like it remembers things. They joke about a whiskey line, how it never seems to reach the ice. They say this room must feel like stone. All these files, all these phones, they talk about the hours, the late nights, then change the subject before I can answer. They see the chair, the glass, the silence. They never see the weight it holds. Every name, every face, every secret stacked in the spaces between my bones. I pour, I listen, I sign, I stand steady as an old coat rack. They see the chair, the glass, the silence. They never see what's pressing on my back. They notice the frame degrees straight on the wall. Finger the edge of the old brass clock. Ask about the stain on the corner rug, like it's something I forgot to wash away. They count the rings from every drink, trace circles where my elbow sinks. Say I must be used to all of this, like habit makes a burden any lighter. The door clicks and it's quiet again. Voices hang in the curtains, tired promise in the carpet pile. I stack their troubles in a straight line, tuck them into folders with neat names. Walk the floor twice till my heartbeat matches the ticking on the shelf. They see the chair, the glass, the silence, and never see the weight it holds. Every name, every face, every secret stacked in the spaces between my bones. I pour, I listen, I sign, I stand outside. Lamp clicks off, coat on, door lock, smoke in the air, slow and stubborn. The room, let's go, I don't, not yet.
Rain on the windshield, keys still in, smoke tracing halos over the dim. Leather holds a weight I carry, quiet as a closed bank vault. Jacket on the passenger, folds hide the hidden fall. Phone face down in the console, buzzing like it lost my trust. Cigar ash on the cuff, slow falling, little gray mountain of what I was. Her name in a text I don't open. Names turn heavy when they're said. Mirror shows a man not asking any questions of the dead. I paid in silence, never sent receipts. Sweat on the glass, calm in the heat. Rain writes stories all over the street. I just watch it from the driver's seat. Clock past 12 in the dash, glow amber. Second-hand limps, still lame. Wipers drag across the past. Push it off, it comes back the same. I don't know reasons to the darkness. It's already taking what it needs. I light another inch of habit, let the filter kiss my teeth. If it broke me, you'd have heard it in the way my engine starts. But it turns like every evening, cold key, warm heart.
Warm desk lamp, circle on the wood, smoke hanging thin, time moving like oil. He signs his name in a borrowed pen, lets the ink dry slow, never checks the clock. Cold
on the chair, tie still knotted tight, eyes on the glass where the city stays out. He doesn't raise a single breath too high. Every word he keeps has weight to the room. He does not perform power, he lets it arrive. Sits in the center of quiet and watches you try. He does not perform power, he lives in its shade. Cold-faced, warm lamp in every choice you make. Folders stacked like patient verdicts, names on tap you hoped he'd never learn. He listens once, then lets silence answer. Your voice thins out against the hum of the air. A clock behind him ticks like distant shoes. You hear each second asking what you're worth. You feel the dark with nervous phrases. Yeah. He feels it with nothing at all. Your promises tremble, spill on the depths. His hands stay folded, steady as stone. He does not perform power, he lets it arrive. Sits in the center of quiet and watches you try. He does not perform power, he walks where it waits. Cold face, warm lamp in all your silent stays. He does not perform power, there's nothing to prove. He just takes his time and never has to move. Thin smoke fading, lamp still burning, door click shut, and the weight stays on your skin. Lampshade yellowed at the edge, clock hand crawling through the air. Smoke, rain drifting out of frame, names in a drawer, face down. Paper towers leaning slow, ink still damp on half-man line. Shirt cuffs gray along the fold, coffee cool to quiet shine. One chair turned toward the door, one left pointed at the wall. Coat on a hook like a held breath, floorboards remember it all. When the night moves on, some weight stays pressed in the grain of the desk in the phrase. You can wipe down glass, clear the air, still find a mark in the place where a hand once cared. Some men pass through, some men stay.
stamps crooked on outbound files, staples bitten through the spine, phone light dying on the tile, soft blue ghost across the blinds. Laughter left a shallow dent in the cushion by the pane. Footprints faded down the hall, still the hinges speak their names. Not a statue, not a sign, just a corner, one in time. Just a key left, teeth gone dull. Just a door that swings more full. When the night moves on, some way stays pressed in the grain of the desk, in the phrase you can clear the board. Lock the case, still feel a charge in the dust, in the breathing space. Some men walk out, some men stay. And ash in the carpet, and what they gave away. Lamplight trembling, then it slips. Street hum rising, distant thin. A single line across the pad, no name under it. Just intent, settling in. Invoices stacked like winter, numbers leaning on the lamp. Coffee ring on last December, spreading slowly through the stamp. Ink turned brown along the margins, phone face down, still buzzing faint. His thumb rests on the table's carved marks, names and years he never paints. He is the weight in the wood, the quiet nail that never shows, holding up the things that would come down hard on those below. No oath carved into granite, no flag hung from his breath. Only folders, creases, calloused fingers testify across this desk. Outside, sirens braid with traffic, glass towers glowing late day haze. Here the radiator's coughing keeps its own forgotten phrase. Framed school photo in the corner, tilted when the drawer slammed shut. His knuckles split from younger labor ache, then steady, then adjust. He is the weight in the wood, the quiet nail that never shows, holding up the things that would break the ones who never know. No toast raised in his honor, no chorus calling out his name. Only deadlines met and doors kept open, drawing lines that never claim. blame like pouring concrete, lets it harden where he's built. Street lights clicking far off windows, evening leans against the glass. He straightens one white crooked corner, lets the silence answer back. He is the weight in the wood, the steady hinge that doesn't swing, bearing every small decision like a bell that will not ring. No sermon on his shoulders, no verse to polish what he's done, only dust and late day amber, and the word that says it's one.
Heads turn before the door moves, coats straighten on the backs of chairs, polished shoes on patterned carpet, slow steps, soft air. Holds palms off a corner table, ash curls hanging in the glow. He says nothing, jacket settles like it's always been his role. His name walks in before he does, glances trade like folded bills. Low lamps lean into his silence, time itself stands still. Threads cut close, the room adjusts. Oh, that weight and how he stands, glass on glass, a quiet pause, his name before the man. Tie knot sharp, cufflinks level, one touch smooths a single crease. Chair slides back, the noise gets thinner, voices drop, I seek relief. He lifts the match, takes his time, lets the smoke find where to stay. Every waiter learns his rhythm by how long he makes them wait. His name walks in before he does, glances straight like folded bills. Low lamps lean into his silence, time itself stands still. Threads cut close, the room adjusts. All that weight and how he stands, glass on glass, a quiet pause, his name before the man. His name before the man. Cut crystal, dark wood, buttercup, they understood. Sleeves pressed sharp on the arm of the chair, one ring catching that low amber flare. Leather on and back untouched, still straight. He leans an inch forward, whole room hits the brakes. Folder on the desk, corners line exact, pen cap parallel, silver on black. He checks his watch once, not to see the time, more to see who watches, who falls back in line. Cufflinks, heavy feel to set in his wrist. Tie not perfect, not a thread out of place. He nods one time, conversation shifts. Names get careful, voices lose their bass. Glass holds its shape in his hand. Slow swirl, dark, dark, quiet command. He don't have to say what he is, you can read it in the way the room stands. Glass holds its shape in his hand. Never in his face, venom soft, keeps his air safe. Chest stays center, feet flat grounded. Every move measured, nothing rounded. Phone face down, screen off black. If it lights up once, someone steps back. Coats come off, then go back on. Nobody sure how long they've been gone. He signs one page, slide of the thumb, no flourish, no rush. Outcome done, door clicks soft, people filing tools. Each one studying the shine on his shoes. Glass holds its shape in his hand. Slow swirl, dark burn, quiet command. He don't have to say what he is, you can read it in the way the room stands. Glass holds its shape in his hand. Slow swirl, dark burn, quiet command. He don't have to say what he is, you can read it in the way the room stands. Glass holds its shape in his hand. One lamp humming in the corner, folder yawning on the desk, leather sighs under his shoulder, rain lists its reasons on the glass. Last laugh still hangs in the ceiling, cold cups crooked on their rings. Jackets gone, their scents still drifting, names and numbers scattered things. He straightens chairs like loose sentences, lines them up, quiet repair. Ashtray full of small abandonments, stale smoke stitched into the air. Someone signs for what the room consumes. Time, attention, little fraying seams. He is paid to notice, not to name. He is here to hold it, not to lean. The cost lives in the way his jaw stays calm, in the way his gaze stays clean. He carries every almost broken moment, then walks out, leaving everything unseen.
face tipped a little sideways. Ink bruise on his second cup. Agenda folded like a secret. Nothing said, yet said enough. He remembers who sat furthest from the door, who watched the exit, who watched him. Marks it down behind his breathing, filed where the light runs thin. When someone signs for what the room consumes, patience, silence, all the swallowed lines. He is built to listen past the words, to stand steady as the weather turns inside. The price is in the nights that end like this. Hand on the switch, heart off the sleeve. He keeps the shape of everyone together, then steps into the rain with nothing to retrieve. Open file, blue glow on his hands, a lamp humming over dust, rain counting on the glass, the ash in the tray, smoke gone hours ago, suit jacket on the chair, tie folded like a note not sent, clock at 2:14, whiskey ring on the desk. Glass untouched, phone face down, still lit, names waiting in a list he knows by heart. He breathes, looks at the numbers, looks at the door and stays in the chair that needs a body. Somebody signs their name at the bottom. Somebody takes a call when it's bad. Somebody holds a room while it's shaking, keeps his hand steady, voice flat. He measures away. Then he carries it, not because he's strong, because it is his to live. Rain leans harder, street a smear of chrome and black. Email draft open, sentence cut in half for the third time. He thinks her face is at that table. Laughter that stops when the hard part starts. The way they glance his way, like a habit, like a train track laid too long ago. His shoulders find the line they always find. Not stiff, not soft, just there, like the water picture hangs on. Somebody signs their name at the bottom. Somebody keeps the calm when it cracks. Somebody holds a room like an answer, even when the answer talks back. He measures the cost in quiet minutes, leaves his own hunger lasting, walks it out, bill in hand, lights off, door locked. Clicks dark, screen goes black, whiskey still full, rain still working the window, coat over his arm, key in his palm. He leaves the smoke
takes the night within.
Used to say sometimes you settle in public, sometimes you settle in private. Then it said, stare through the smoke, like the room was taking notes. Half a whiskey rang on the desk, leather chair cracked at the seams in his chest. Ashtray mountains, bills and a stack. Clock hands whisper, he just whispers back. He straightens the frame where a boy once stood. Same tired smile, says it's all good. Tucks one more worry under his sleeve, lets the lamp hum on so the dark can leave. They see the calm, not the cause. Swear he never seems to know what he's lost. Steady as the second hand, quiet as the cross. They see the calm, they don't see the cost. Phone screen glowing names he won't call. Apologies typed then erased off the wall. He circles a number on a shut-off notice. Laughs through his nose, changes the focus. Takes one slow swallow, sets the glass just so. Lines up the coaster like a marching roll. He folds up the anger, puts it in a drawer. Locks it with a shrug, walks past the door. Some turn the storms into still lake. He just shifts the weight in his hand, says, keep talking, I understand. They see the call, not the cost. Call him solid ground when their feet are crossed. Leaning on a lighthouse they think can't be tossed. They see the call, they don't see the cause. They see the calm in his measured glass. Think it's always been this easy to pass, but every quiet evening he's the one that's crossed. They see the calm, he carries the cause. He clicks off a lamp, a room folds into gray. Half a glass on the circle, waiting for day. He runs one thumb down a worn leather seam, says that'll hold. Lets the silence dream.